Out of the void, a titan tore through space. The Magellan's Promise, a legend become threat. Its hull was scarred, patched across millennia. And at its prow, a weapon array no treaty permitted. The Council Patrol Argus intercepted, broadcasting hails. Its captain felt the wrongness before the sensors confirmed. Then the array ignited. White-violet light bled across the patrol's hull, painting it in death shades.
Unidentified vessel. You are inside the defensive perimeter of the Magellan's Promise. Withdraw or be destroyed.
On the Argus, the captain's voice broke as he asked for an identity. His tactical board screamed.
We are humanity. The branch you forgot. Leave now.
The Argus fled, its FTL jump a desperate shriek. Its emergency broadcast tore through subspace, and the Magellan's Promise, its warning delivered, let its weapon cool. But its sensors never slept. In Earth Council space, alarms began to howl. Something ancient and terrible had come home. In the council chamber, the looped footage of the Argus's retreat played on a loop. Ambassador Chen's face was stone.
A generation ship, lost for 5,000 years, and it just threatened to destroy one of our patrols.
Aboard her shuttle, Lieutenant Vance pulled up the ancient files. The Magellan's Promise launched in the pre-FTL era, 5,000 years ago. Its mandate, total survival, unrestricted weapons development, no treaty, no limit on what it could become.
If they never signed a single treaty, they could have anything humanity ever dreamed of building and then banned.
The Argus recording played next. The white-violet glow of the weapon array, the ship's voice, cold as vacuum.
You'll go aboard, Lieutenant, establish contact, find out what became of the people we left behind.
Sir, if they've evolved without us, they might not see us as kin. They already fired on the Argus.
Through the canopy, the Magellan's Promise loomed, its lights steady. A world that had never needed Earth.
5,000 years of silence. And now this. What do I say to people who think our peace is a lie?
The shuttle docked with a jarring thud. Ancient seals hissed, releasing breath 5,000 years stale.
You are the first from Earth to board in 5 millennia. Do not mistake this welcome for trust.
Narrow corridors, dim lights, surfaces worn smooth by generations of hands that never knew peace.
Your council spoke of peace. Peace is a child's dream. We learned what survives. Observe.
Klaxons howled. Crew burst from hatches, faces empty of expression. Their movements were lethal economy. They raised weapons from forbidden histories. Antimatter lances, bioform suppressors, tools the galaxy forgot for a reason.
We never stopped sharpening. Your treaties let the edge go dull.
They see mercy as a death sentence. How do we bridge that?
The drill ended, and the silence pressed harder than the alarms. No one had come home. They had only brought the war. Back in the council office, Vance faced Chen. Her report was a wound.
They're not just armed, sir. They're built around war. They think we're children playing at civilization.
Perhaps we can teach them, show them another way. They're still human.
To all vessels. The Magellan's Promise claims a defensive exclusion zone of 500,000 kilometers by ancient Terran, right?
A Krell scout, oblivious, crossed the boundary. Its navigation ignored the beacons.
Krell vessel. You have violated our perimeter. Withdraw immediately or face defensive measures.
The Krell ship, drifting in silent confusion, did not respond.
They're declaring void law from before we knew there were aliens. This will not end well.
The Magellan's Promise turned, its ancient hull groaning. The weapon array began to glow, and in the council office, the light from the holo display flickered, showing a ship from humanity's forgotten past about to strike. A single antimatter lance pierced the void. No thunder, no fire, just silent annihilation. The Krell scout simply ceased to exist. brief flare, then scattered noise on the sensors. On Chen's monitor, the icon blinked out. The room's ambient light dimmed as if reality recoiled.
That weapon signature, an antimatter lance, banned by the Treaty of the Seven Suns 4,000 years ago.
They didn't hesitate. To them, it was a threat eliminated, not a ship full of living beings.
The raw footage leaked across the galaxy within an hour. Alien allies demanded explanations. Human allies demanded vengeance.
The Council must respond. If we do nothing, we condone the use of the cruelest weapon ever devised by humans.
But the Magellan's Promise simply resumed its vigil. No apology, no negotiation, only silence. Across known space, the first whispers of dread swelled into a chorus. The humans had brought a monster back from the dead. The Generation ship had drawn a line in the void. And the Council, for the first time in centuries, was afraid of what their own species had become. Ambassador Chen opened a direct channel. The line hissed with 5,000 years of silence.
Ambassador, I assume this is about the border violation. Be brief.
You destroyed an unarmed Krell scout. That was not defense. It was slaughter.
They ignored our warnings. In our void, survival demands certainty. We gave them a chance. You speak of treaties we never signed. That galactic cycle weakness would have ended us millennia ago.
She recited their weapon inventory. Bioform suppressors, directed antimatter lances, artifacts of a humanity that never learned restraint.
We have refined tools your council can't imagine. Has Earth become so soft it cannot face the dark?
Some lines must never be crossed, no matter the dark. What you are is a horror.
A horror? No, Ambassador. We are the real humanity, the one that survived. Your ethics are a fairy tale.
The channel cut. Chen sat alone. The chasm between their worlds, now an abyss nothing could cross. The council chamber fractured. Hardliners demanded the ship's destruction. Historians called it a living museum that must be preserved.
They are still human. Destroying them destroys a part of our own soul, the part that survived the dark.
Let me go back. One last time, I've spoken with them. Maybe I can find something we missed.
It's too dangerous. If they see this as weakness, they'll exploit it. But if there's any chance, take it.
Vance's shuttle docked under a heavy silence. The Magellan's Promise no longer felt ancient, only patient.
I am not here as a council officer today. I need to understand why you became what you are.
Then, watch the ledger of our survival. Every death, every sacrifice, every monster we had to become.
The logs flickered. Hull breaches held with human bodies, plagues that killed half the crew, enemies that offered no quarter. Generation after generation of unending war.
I see the scars, but this ledger has no line for mercy. They erased it long ago.
The divide now had a face, not evil, but a tragedy that understood its own horror and chose it anyway. Vance returned to the council office, her face a mask of failure. The shuttle ride had been silent.
She's immovable, sir. Their suffering became a religion. They won't hear our ethics.
Then the soft path ends. We must prepare for what comes next. The Council will have to harden.
Across the void, the Magellan's Promise broadcast a new message. Not a threat, but an offer. The message read, "The Magellan's Promise offers advanced weapon technology to any species willing to trade resources and defense pacts." The Krell, still grieving their dead, dispatched ambassador threats. His orders: secure the weapons at any cost.
The humans have forged the perfect blade. We will wield it against our ancient enemies.
Council intelligence intercepted the Krell communique. Chen felt the cold hand of inevitability.
They're going to arm the galaxy with forbidden weapons. Our fragile peace just shattered.
And across the dark, the Magellan's Promise waited. Its lights a beacon for the desperate and the ruthless. Ambassador Threx stepped aboard, his chiton gleaming under ancient lights. The air tasted of old steel and older resolve.
You came for weapons. First, witness what they can do.
Outside, a derelict asteroid hung in the void. A single antimatter lance struck, and the rock became light.
Perfect. Our enemies will not know what struck them. Name your price.
Raw materials, a mutual defense pact, and your silence until the first strike. Do we have an agreement?
We do. The Krell will stand with the Magellan's promise.
The pact was sealed with a cold nod. The first alien nation bought forbidden human weapons. Council intelligence caught a fragment of the transmission, enough to know the deal was imminent.
They're selling extinction. We can't let this stand.
The schism had metastasized, and the galaxy would never be the same. Ambassador Chen stood before the council, his voice steady but heavy.
The Magellan's promise has crossed a red line. They are arming potential enemies of Earth with weapons we swore never to use again.
He formally proposed a vote, denounced the ship, and demand its immediate disarmament. The vote passed. The ultimatum was transmitted across the void on the Generation ship. Elizabeth read the message and let out a cold, dry laugh.
The Council has no authority over us. Their ultimatum is an insult to everything we survived. We will defend our right to exist with any means necessary. Let them come.
Her counter-declaration went live, broadcast to the same frequencies the Council used. In the Council chamber, silence fell. The challenge was unambiguous. Two humanities, one bound by ethics, the other by survival. And both now considered the other an enemy. Elizabeth's voice cut through the void, broadcast to every receiver in known space.
The Magellan's promise is a sovereign human polity. We are the true heirs of humanity's spirit. Any species willing to defy the Council may apply for a defense pact. We share our strength.
Within hours, a minor power accepted. The Zilani, long oppressed by the Council's trade laws, pledged allegiance. Automated loaders began transferring crates of forbidden weaponry onto alien freighters. Antimatter lances and bioform suppressors, artifacts of a past the galaxy thought buried, entered the open market.
They're not just defying us, they're poisoning the galaxy. This is our legacy now.
This is our fault. We abandoned them, and now they've become this.
The star charts shifted. New alliances formed, old ones fractured. The galaxy was choosing sides. Two humanities now stood at the center of the schism, and neither could call the other kin. Lieutenant Vance stood rigid before Ambassador Chen. The words she carried were heavy as a mutiny.
Sir, we left them behind. For 5 millennia, we forgot them. Is our ethics just convenient amnesia?
Number. Our ethics are what kept us from becoming what they are. Hard choices do not make us wrong.
Let me try one more time. A personal appeal. Elizabeth will hear me. There might be a way back.
Denied. You are too compromised, Lieutenant. I won't lose you to their logic.
He's right. I am compromised. But maybe that's the only way to see the truth.
She saluted, sharp and correct, but the gesture felt hollow. The door slid shut behind her. Chen sat in the silence, the weight of the schism pressing deeper. Even his own officer was now a question. The Council's unity was fraying, strand by strand. The enemy wasn't just out there. It was inside their doubts. Vance walked the corridor, her loyalty a wound that would not close. She served Earth, but understood its shadow. 12 Council warships materialized around the Magellan's promise, their weapons cold but ready. On the promise, tactical alarms blared. The weapon array ignited with a familiar white violet hum.
Council fleet, you are targeting a sovereign human vessel. Power down, or we will defend ourselves.
The fleet commander's voice crackled on Chen's private channel, strained.
Hold formation. Do not fire unless fired upon. We are not the ones to start a civil war.
This is your final warning. Any hostile act will be met with an unrestrained response. Choose wisely.
Silence stretched across the void. Targeting locks danced between the fleets, fingers on triggers. On the promise, Elizabeth watched the tactical display, her hand resting near the fire control. The galaxy held its breath. Two humanities, one spark away from mutual annihilation. No order came. The standoff held, poised on the edge of an abyss neither side truly wanted. With the fleets still locked, Ambassador Chen opened a direct channel to the Magellan's promise. This was his last card.
Captain Meroby, I am offering one final chance. Cease arming alien species, and we can discuss recognition.
Recognition. Your council's recognition is meaningless. We do not negotiate from weakness.
This isn't weakness. It's a plea to avoid a war that will cost billions of lives, human and alien.
We've faced war for 5,000 years. Your threat is just another Tuesday. We will never submit.
The channel fell silent, but the contempt lingered. Chen's last olive branch had snapped.
Then, there's nothing more to say, but know this. We will not let you turn the galaxy into a graveyard.
Try to stop us. You'll learn what true humanity looks like.
The transmission ended. Chen sat back, the weight of failure pressing on his chest. The standoff would end. But the war had already begun, cold, bitter, and without end. The Council's next act was swift. The Magellan's promise became a rogue state, its trade illegal.
We will choke their alliances with sanctions. No species will trade with them and remain our friend.
But in the dark, freighters still docked. Threx's Krell Dominion ignored the edict.
The Council fears what they cannot control. Our pact with the Promise is stronger than their threats.
Chen watched the intelligence reports. Every sanction violation was a wound to Council authority.
They're mocking us. The embargo was supposed to be a wall, not a sieve.
The galaxy's lesser powers saw the cracks. They began hedging their bets, quietly reaching out to the Promise. The schism was no longer a political rift. It was a shadow war fought in cargo bays and diplomatic back channels.
What will the Council do? Bomb our freighters? Start the war they fear? Their weakness is their trap.
And the Cold War continued. A slow burn that would one day ignite. Months passed. The galaxy froze into two armed camps. Council space and the Promise's growing sphere. Along the border, incidents became routine. A sensor ghost, a near collision, a warning shot fired in the dark. A Council scout ship, the Osiris, patrolled the edge of the disputed zone. Its crew on edge. Without warning, Magellan-aligned Krell raiders opened fire. The Osiris erupted in a cloud of silent flame.
Another provocation, or a tragic mistake. No one will ever know, and both sides will use it.
No one claimed the kill. The Promise issued a denial, blaming rogue elements. The Council called it state-sponsored murder. The forbidden weapons now saturated the region. Antimatter lances and bioform suppressors made every skirmish a potential genocide.
This is the world we made, a powder keg with no fuse long enough.
The Cold War had calcified. Neither side would back down, neither would push all the way to open war. Yet, and so, humanity tore itself in two, each half certain of its virtue, each half waiting for the other to blink. Commander Vance sat alone in her cramped border station, an encrypted message blinking on her console. A personal code from the Magellan's Promise.
Commander Vance, you understood us once. Come home. There is a place for you here.
For a long moment, she simply stared. The offer pulled at something raw and unhealed.
They're not monsters. They're survivors, like us. Maybe I've been on the wrong side.
Your council will always doubt you. With us, your insight will be honored.
But then she saw the Osiris again, the silent explosion. Dead crew who would never return.
I can't. You've crossed lines I won't cross. Goodbye, Captain.
The channel died. She sat for a minute, then opened a secure line to Ambassador Chen.
You did the right thing, Commander. I know what it cost you.
She nodded, but the praise felt hollow. She had chosen duty, but lost a piece of her soul to the schism. The Draken Empire came next. Their emissary offered a planet's ransom for the cruelest of the Promise's stock, bioform suppressors.
You will have them. Use them as you see fit. We are not the keepers of your conscience.
Within a month, the suppressors fell upon a disputed colony. The weapon did not explode. It unformed life. A silent wave erased everything organic. Buildings stood pristine, but every soul was gone. Millions in a single hour. The council chamber watched the genocide in real time. Chen's face emptied of color.
This is our doing. We could not stop them. And now the Promise's cargo has become a plague.
The council had no authority over the Draken. Their sanctions were paper against the fire. Across the galaxy, the news spread. The extinct weapons, resurrected, were no longer a threat but a living horror. And the Magellan's Promise, in its cold silence, had no comment. The deal was done. The die cast. The tidal promise had come true. The lost ship had returned, and its cargo was a handful of apocalypse. Ambassador Chen stood before the hushed council. The weight of the genocide hung in the air like ash.
The Magellan's Promise is a mirror. They show what we could have become if we had let the dark define us. We must stand united now more than ever, but not with cruelty, with the resolve to be better.
But the alien delegates shifted uneasily. Their fear was not of the Promise alone, but of the human capacity for apocalypse. On the Generation ship, Elizabeth reviewed Chen's speech. A cold smile touched her lips.
He preaches unity, but offers only fear. Come to us, and we will give you strength, not sermons.
Within days, 3 more fringe worlds announced defense pacts with the Promise. The Council's authority crumbled further. The two humanities were no longer a crisis. They were a permanent reality. Each called the other false.
We are 2 halves of a broken whole. Neither complete, both convinced they are the real humanity.
And so the schism calcified into history. The promise of a united humanity was now a dream buried in the void. Earth survived its own dark age to build an ethical civilization, and that achievement gave birth to its greatest threat. The Magellan's Promise never forgot how to survive, but somewhere in the dark, it forgot what it meant to be human. The tragedy was not malice, but a mirror. Earth saw its ancient face and recoiled. The Promise saw its modern face and mocked. One humanity built its ethics on the bones of a savage past. The other never stopped being savage and called it strength. The question left hanging was not who was right, but whether either could ever be whole again. The Council held the better angels, but their wings were clipped by fear. The Promise flew on wings of fury, but saw no sky. In the end, the schism was not about weapons or treaties. It was about the soul of a species split down the middle. The lost Generation ship had returned, not with answers, but with a question. And the answer would define what being human really meant. Neither half held the whole truth. One had forgotten the past, the other had forgotten the future. And so, the galaxy watched 2 humanities, each calling the other monster, neither seeing the monster within. Deep within the Magellan's Promise, a classroom hummed with the quiet of young minds. The teacher, a woman born after the drift, played faded recordings from Earth's archives. On the screen, blue skies and green hills flickered. A world these children had never walked. A young girl at the back raised her hand, a worn globe of Earth cradled in her lap. She asked why Earth looked so beautiful. yet was considered so weak by the promise. The teacher paused. The lesson plan had no answer for the schism's first question. She could only say that Earth chose a different path, a path of forgetting the struggle. The girl's eyes, sharp as a blade, reflected not wonder, but a predator's calculation. The quiet stretched, and the schism passed silently to another generation. Outside the classroom, the void waited. Inside, the next chapter of humanity began to turn. The Magellan's Promise drifted through the eternal night, its teal lights a silent taunt against the Council fleet that shadowed it. Generations had lived and died within its hull, and not one of them had ever touched Earth. The fleet kept its distance, weapons cold but ready, a wall between two humanities that had forgotten how to be one. The Promise's weapon array remained dark, but its purpose was written in scars older than most civilizations. On the bridges of the Council ships, officers watched the ancient Titan with a dread that had no name. The schism was not a war, not a battle, but a slow turning of two souls that had once been one. And in the silence of the void, the question hung, could a species be both the dream and the nightmare of itself? The Promise had returned not as a savior, but as a mirror that showed what humanity had chosen to forget. The Council fleet held the line, but in doing so, it became the very prison the Promise had fled. Two humanities, one born of hope, the other of necessity, and neither will ever call the other human.